second chance in the game.
Welcome back. I'm Coach McDonald, Daniel McDonald, head football coach of the Providence Pioneers, Clarksville, Indiana. You can email me, dmcdonald@providencehigh.net or at Coach D McDonald on Twitter. I'm here with Chief Pigskin. Nate made the drive, and we're excited to put this three-part series together. Going to talk today or this session, non-negotiables for a defensive practice. Just a little bit about our school. If you've stayed engaged on the three-part session, you're getting this information again. It's all good. I'll be quick about it. We're a small Catholic school. Our enrollments, hovers around 325. Located in Clarksville, Indiana, just across the river from Louisville. We'll roster 30 to 40 kids. If we're north of 40, I would be very pleasantly surprised. We don't have a ton of big kids in the program, or the school for that matter, so we have to be kind of creative with how we run our offense and our defense, knowing that we have to keep our big kids fresh. And I took this job last February, right before COVID hit, so I accepted the job in February. I have my initial meeting with our players after a 2-week period where I had to clear a background check and do our safe and sacred training for our archdiocese. I meet our kids in early March, and we had 17 players at that initial meeting. So I had some work to do. I had to recruit the hallways and make some phone calls and get face-to-face, and couldn't do any of that because it was like 2 days after that meeting, they shut the school down. So I'm trying to recruit the hallways without having actual hallways. Long story short, we finished the season with 38, and we're building those numbers moving forward. A little bit about my background. I've been coaching since I was 21, so this is my 11th year coaching football. Started out at Bullitt East High School in Mount Washington, Kentucky. Coached the skilled guys on offense and defense for a year. Thought I knew everything. The head coach position at my alma mater, Wagner High, opens up, and at age 22, I was hired to be a head football coach in 4A football, excuse me. And that went about as well as you think it would for a 22-year-old head football coach. I did that for a year, decided I need to let some grass grow under my feet, and I've made some stops as an OC at Seneca. I was the D-line coach at Male High School, the third winningest program in the nation. After a year of doing that, and that was kind of an odd fit for me because I had no experience with coaching defense at all. Never played defense, never coached it, but Coach Wolf's philosophy is he's going to hire the best coaches available, and if they're as good as they think they are, they'll make it work and they'll educate themselves and they'll be the best coach at whatever position they need to be at. I was the D-line coach for a year. Coach Wolf promoted me to defensive coordinator, and we went on a heck of a run there. We were the 2018 KHSAA state champions, number 2 ranked scoring defense in Kentucky, and then we were the 2019 KHSAA state runners-up. I parlayed that success into the head coaching job here at Providence, and I am in the process of rebuilding a tradition-rich program. I have great parents, great kids, and a great alumni base, and I work at one of the best schools in Indiana academically. So we have, we have some of the best facilities in Indiana, and if we don't have them already, there are plans to make our facilities the best facilities in Indiana. So I've got a lot of support. I've got a great support network. My staff and I just had to put the work in to get the players ready and to get the athletes so that we can build an elite program. I've spoken for Chief Pigskin in the past. I work for Chief Pigskin as a shooter. I've spoken at the Glazer Clinic down in Nashville, and I've spoken at the Nike clinics. And I also did some stuff for the Make America Great Again podcast. Not the podcast itself, but for Coach Vass, and that was a lot of fun. So today we're going to talk about the 3 non-negotiables for every defensive practice. And really you can accomplish all these with a series of very similar drills. First non-negotiable for building your defense is AAP, alignment, assignment, pursuit. And some of you older coaches, this may be right up your alley. You may not need to know this. I kind of feel like my audience is those younger coaches who are aspiring to go to the next phase of their career. Okay, so my audience is a little younger. That's okay. So AAP, alignment, assignment, pursuit. If you can't line up correctly, if you don't know your assignment, and if you don't fly to the ball, you're not going to have a successful defense. So we really emphasize AAP every defensive practice rather. Once you get to the ball, you got to be able to tackle it. So tackling is a non-negotiable for every defensive practice, and we work run fits every single defensive practice. Not necessarily run fits so much as understanding your leverage and how you fit into your defense. We're a gap control defense, so all 11 dudes on the field have a gap to defend, and they have leverage that they have to understand. Just a real quick overview of my defensive philosophy. Whether you're an odd front, an even front, whatever, we're actually, because of our personnel and to save our big guys' legs, we're actually going to move to an odd front this year. I've kind of made my career as a 4-2-5 guy, but in the best interest of my players and to fit their skill set, we're going to move to an odd front. Regardless, I still believe in squeeze, spill, pursue. Squeeze it, spill it, get to it. I believe in a cautiously aggressive philosophy. So my guys have keys; they react to their keys. We're not just going to run around and go to the ball like crazy without understanding what our key is doing and why I'm there. Okay. And when you choose your personnel for defense, I recommend discarding your preconceived notions of measurables. Well, this player needs to be this player. Get your best 11 dudes on the field on defense. Get your meanest 11 dudes, your 11 headhunters. Get them on the field for defense. That'll pay dividends. You get your best athletes out there, your meanest dudes. If you can stop them, you can beat them. Don't rely on your offense to score 40 a game. Put your best athletes on defense. I firmly believe that successful defense cannot happen without a defensive culture. When I worked for Coach Wolf at Mail, he said it very eloquently. He said, your offensive guys, he used the analogy of building a house, right, or remodeling a house. Your offensive guys are the guys who are going to go in and use their T-squares and their tape measures. They're going to measure twice, cut once. They're going to make sure the tile work is pristine. Those are your offensive guys. Your defensive guys are going to come in with sledgehammers and just wreck everything. Okay, and I really like that analogy. If you're fortunate enough to play 2 platoon players, look. Last year I had 9 guys going both ways. But if you're fortunate enough to play players one way, I would just get your headhunters and your wreckers on and put them on defense. I believe in relentless effort on defense. As a whole program, we believe relentless effort, but especially on defense. If you're not going to fly to the ball every single rep, you're not going to play defense. You can go try to carry the ball or you can grab some bench. I believe in a 3-and-out mentality, and in my years of defense, we've done one of two things. We've emphasized rather 3-and-outs, or we've emphasized turnovers. If you keep that 3-and-out mentality, the guys understand I can be off the field in 3 plays. So if I just go all out for 3 plays, I'm off the field. Do my job 3 plays, I'm off the field. If you emphasize turnovers, that's fine too, and I've seen some teams really successful with that. And I'm not going to sit here and act like we don't want turnovers and we don't have a turnover circuit, but our big emphasis when we go 11 on 11 or inside drill or whatever is 3-and-out. We're trying to limit explosive plays. So do your job, do your job. First play, do your job. Second play, do your job. Third down, we're out of here. And then in every drill we do, we finish with a sprint to the ball, whether it's inside, 7-on-7, even in various individual drills. Sprint to the ball. Finish your drill with a sprint. As far as weekly drills go, every week we want to make sure we hit these. And a lot of times we'll hit these drills every practice. We have 4 versions of AAP that we run. Now, we won't run all 4 versions in one day. We'll space them out over a week, or we might do 2 different AAP drills a day. But there are 4 different versions of AAP that we're going to make sure we hit at least weekly. Everybody knows the modern day Oklahoma, the perimeter drill. We run that extensively. We get a tackling circuit in every day. I'm going to plug Atavis here. I've worked with Atavis football for the past 5 years, and they really do a nice job. They believe in that rugby heads-up tackling. It's good stuff. I would recommend checking them out. We get a scout period in, and we run through our fits. So we'll take a team's best 2 or 3 run plays, and we make sure we can fit those run plays. So that going into a week, we make sure that you play left-handed. When we talk about AAP, I firmly believe that you can knock out AAP, tackling, and run fits all in the same drill. Okay? But our AAP drills are our most important drills in June, July, and early August. You're establishing culture with your AAP. You're installing your base defense with AAP drills. You're teaching guys leverage and fits with your AAP drills. Okay? So we'll still run it in season, but it's also a scout period for us. But it all comes down to 3 things: alignment, assignment, pursuit. If you can do those 3 things on defense and tackle well, you're going to have a heck of a defense. Our AAP drill establishes our culture early in June and July. It establishes that culture that you're going to fly to the ball. If not, you're going to grab a spot on the bench. Like I said, you use the drill to teach your base, but it's also to place a premium on speed and relentless effort. So we have 4 versions of this drill. We have an outside run pursuit, where you're going to give the ball to a fast guy and tell him to run outside. We have an inside run pursuit drill where all 11 guys are working their leverage and fits. That's also a draw drill. You can't forget about how to defend draws and teaching your linemen to, you're pass rushing upfield, but then you better retrace and come back and get on somebody's hip. We have a screen AAP drill, and then we have a mini AAP drill, which is good for your young kids, but also your older kids, and we use that for teaching leverage. It's mini AAP. Pretty solid drill. Okay, so our outside run AAP. You can see the diagram. I'm not going to insult your intelligence. And you set up your cones, you set up your receivers. Now these receivers are rabbits, so their job is to just fire off and give us a 10-yard burst, so we can landmark gap fits and we can landmark where receivers are on the field. First cone here is set up for your scraping linebacker. Second cone set up for your force and for your alley. Third cone is set up for your secondary contain. Then you have your pursue. Your pursue is coming. Your pursuit's coming. Okay? So as these players run through this drill, the emphasis is on alignment. Line up to whatever formation you want to throw out there. Make the correct calls. Make sure you're lined up correctly. And if you're not talking, get out. The next guy's up. We focus on leverage, attacking with the correct shoulder, attacking with the correct angle. Okay, making the tackle per se. And when I say making the tackle, we make sure that these guys are power stepping with the correct foot, tagging the ball carrier's hip as he approaches. And then, of course, if you're not sprinting to the ball, we're going to do up downs or burpees or grass drills or whatever we got to do. If I'm not getting you to sprint one way, I'm getting some effort out of you another way. And I know I get it. We draw the cones up. We put the cones out as landmarks, but our emphasis is not on cone assignment. So I'm not saying the only 3 cones that I emphasize are the scrape, the scrape, the alley, and the force. Okay, scrape, alley, force. The other cones, I just need to make sure we see a body there when the ball gets there. I've got dotted lines drawn up for visual purposes. I've got our end drawn up, keeping inside out leverage and trailing. But in reality, as that ball gets there, I don't care who it is. Somebody's got to be at that cone. Okay? So I'm not going to tell the will, you got to get to that cone. I'm not going to tell the nose, get to that cone. Our rule is get to the ball, don't chase the same color. Okay? I think if you put an emphasis on you got to get to that cone, that's your cone. You're not really simulating a game, because in a game, how clean is it really? A game is chaotic. So you got to teach your players to work through the chaos and get to an assignment, get to the ball. Our next AAP drill is inside run. Okay, so it's an 11-on-11 drill, but it's not a full contact drill for us. These guys on the line are holding pads. These receivers are holding pads. And we're using it to understand run fits. So when that guard pulls, who's matching what, whose leverage is where. And we just use it to make sure that we're fitting up correctly in our gaps and that we're sprinting to the ball. Okay, so you don't have to go full gear you don't have to go full gear to the ground to work fits. Put the bags up there and get some condition. I don't want to say the word conditioning. I don't use the word conditioning anymore. But get guys ready for a game, work your sprints while also working fitting up. We drill screens and drop back passes with another AAP drill. Okay, so the emphasis is on finding the ball. So quarterback will drop back. Usually that's a coach. He'll drop back, and you can have guys standing here. You can have scout guys standing here. Or you can just have cones here. And you tell your guys, like with limited numbers, I'll drop back as the coach, and I'll say 1, and I'll point to it, or I'll mock a throw to it. Well, they know that's the bubble. So I know that as a nickel, when that bubble gets here, I got to go to the force. As a Mike, I'm scraping to it inside out. As a free safety, I'm running the alley. Okay, and I've got to get there. As a corner, I'm secondary contained, so I'm working secondary contained. Hard edge, fold back if you need to. Hard edge, fold back. And then my D linemen are engaging, pass rushing. Once the ball's released, they're retracing back down the line. Whoops. Okay, if I call out 4, they know that's the curl dig area. So a linebacker is going to read pass. He's going to drop and work. And I've got rabbits here actually running the routes sometimes. We're working the reroute in sync, or we're working on matching numbers. But ultimately, it's a drill for understanding get to the ball. We can work the tunnel where, I'm fitting up as the corner at force. The nickel, I'm working to the tunnel, inside out. Okay, and we're just working multiple points where the ball can be thrown. The 3 lane, I'm going to slow screen it. So as a quarterback, I'm going to take the snap. I'm going to drop back 1, 2, 3, slow, and then I'm going to drop again. And by that time, the guys should know that's screen. I've lined this drill up where I'll have linemen actually with pads. And they'll actually set up and give us a tell for a screen. They'll engage, they'll swim, or they'll rip through, or they'll disengage. And it becomes a really easy pass rush. And all of a sudden, I got to think as a D lineman, oh crap, I bet that was my tell. That guy just disengaged for a reason. I better retrace and get to the screen. Okay, so we work leverage on the slow screen. And then we work draws. With our Mike and Will and our linebackers matching patterns, we are a little bit susceptible to draws. So that's a good drill for your linemen to understand pass rush, work back. Pass rush, work back into the quarterback's hip. It's a good drill for your Mike and Will to understand, get off the match and get back into the box and make a play on that quarterback. So I may as a coach, run this drill, take the snap, drop back, and yell, draw, draw, draw. And then I'm running through. Or I might hand it off to a back, and he's got to run through. And he's going to run through there full speed, and these guys just have to retrace and tag his hip. D linemen are going to put their foot in the ground, retrace, get in somebody's hip, and make a play. Okay, so you got to make sure, if you want your guys to defend screens, you better skeleton drill it and work. This is a drill we came up with this year because we had so many guys who were new to football, or so many young guys. And the very first time we ran our full 11-on-11, our full 11-man AAP, it looked terrible. Why did it look terrible? Because our guys had never been taught that. It was too much space and too much going on for them to really understand it. So we broke it down to a mini AAP where we taught guys how to use leverage. And it's a great drill for us. Okay, you have a ball carrier. That's it. No quarterback, no center, no nothing. Just a ball carrier. You have an offensive lineman. You can simulate it as a guard or a tackle. You have I didn't draw it in the drill here, but you would have a guy here holding a pad right on your hash. Okay? And he's going to attack your force. Your force man is going to work outside leverage in, and he's going to work on compressing that block, keeping his outside arm free. Your D tackle is going to work on reading this reach block. So you can do this with no helmets and no shoulder pads. You just got to tell them to take it easy. But your D tackle is going to work on reading this block, defeating the reach, and working down the line of scrimmage with inside-out leverage on the back. Okay? Your Mike is going to work on angle of the back, scrape. Notice I set my safety back a little bit away from the Mike, and he's working on getting into the alley, or you can even work him as a backside safety working pursuit. Okay, and then you're going to have a corner set up here, and he's going to work folding back in for secondary contain. In the video I'm going to show, we're not going to get that corner. I didn't include him in the video. But this is a great drill for us as well. And we had some aha moments here where guys are like, okay, I understand our leverage now. I get it. Okay, so let's head to the film. Not the best angle here. Let's see if we can get a better angle. Okay, this is a good one. These are young guys. I'm teaching incoming 8th graders how to work this drill. So you'll see we've got our D tackle and our O tackle. He's got to defeat that reach block and work down the line of scrimmage. Okay. Our nickel is working on how to force. He's keeping his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and squeezing that gap. When we get to where we can use pads, I'll have somebody with a pad out there actually making him work. You'll see our Will is keeping his depth and scraping downhill. Good Lord. Our Will is keeping depth and scraping. And we've got an incoming freshman safety understanding I've got to get into this fit too. I've got to scrape downhill and get to work. Okay? Boom. Good stuff. Okay. Young guys again. Force. D lineman working down the line. He's giving up too much ground though. D line's giving up way too much ground. He needs to tighten his angle up. Scrape. Boom. And our young safety doesn't understand gather yet. He doesn't understand gather and tag the hip just yet. That's all right though. He'll get there. He's an athlete. Okay, so there's our mini AAP drill, and this is what we used in season to make sure we understood leverage. We didn't really start doing this drill until September, when we realized pursuit wasn't quite where it needed to be. All right, AAP in action. This is an old mail clip, but it's a great example of why you emphasize alignment, assignment, pursuit. We're retracing the screen. Boom. Guys are just getting there, getting there. Love it. Good stuff. Let's check it again. Watch how many tackles we initially miss. Boom. It's all good, though. You're losing yards because my guys are getting there. Great work. Great work, man. Here we go again. AAP in action. Now, this was a different kind of formation, so we knew how to line up to it because we ran AAP all week. The camera works shoddy, but this is backside pursuit. This is why you emphasize get to the ball. Saved a touchdown for us, and we ended up winning the game on a field goal. So if that pursuit, notice he's coming from the backside corner, if that pursuit's not where we need it to be, we're losing that game. That's culture, and that's AAP. That's emphasizing fly to the ball, never give up on a play. Got us with play action, that's okay. We're going to fly to the ball. We're going to live to play another down. Great effort. One more shot, AAP in action. Here we go. This is why you have a screen AAP. This is why we knew how to line up to this formation and defend this stuff. Okay, it's all practice, and we didn't do anything complicated. We just drew up how are we going to line up to it to stop what they want to do, and we emphasize that in practice. Pursue the ball carrier. Pursuit. That is Rondell Moore, who's pretty good. He'll probably be a second-round draft pick. See, he's bobbing and weaving, and he's making moves, but because of our pursuit, he's not going to get an explosive play out of that. one of the most explosive players in football. But when you have 11 guys running down one, 11 guys who are angry enough and pissed off to get to the ball carrier, you're going to be able to bottle some people up. Okay, and I want to emphasize here, during your AAP, you don't have to go full 11 on 11 and full thud and full gear to practice tackling. Notice with this video here, we're making the tackle simply because we're getting there and we're tracking the ball carrier. Our leverage is good, outside in. Keep your leverage, fly to the ball. Okay, so you can practice tackling without practicing tackling. Work on tracking and leverage and gathering and knowing what to do when you get to the ball carrier. All right, so we're going to work some film next with my current team. Bunch of scrappy dudes, man. A bunch of dudes who give relentless effort. Here we go. We miss a couple tackles. That's all right. We're flying to the ball. Understand your leverage, force angle or force alley scrape, fly to the ball. What I'm really impressed with is this is a kid right here with 65 D1 offers, and because we're coachable and because we give great effort, we eliminated his block. Right there. Eliminated that block, create a pile. That's a 6'13" pile that you now have to work around because this guy gave great effort and understood his job. Force, scrape. Allie's going to get there momentarily. Making plays, getting to the ball. I think I see 6 dudes right there, 5 or 6. 5 or 6 guys flying to the football. We missed the initial tackle. It's not great. Don't worry, you got help. That's culture, guys. That's your weekly drills. That's what you emphasize. If you emphasize it enough, it's going to show up. It's just a matter of what do you emphasize as a defense and as a coaching staff. I mentioned our draw clinic or our draw drill. This is it. Okay, scramble drill. Might as well be a draw. Nothing's there. Quarterback's trying to go up the middle. 76. Watch him retrace. Now, I could do without the spin move, but he's going to retrace and get back there. 54. Retrace and get back. Linebackers, get off your match. Get off your match and come back. Get off your pattern match and come back and make a play. Get off your match. Come back and make a play. Minimize yards on draws. We got 11 dudes in the screen. Perfect. Good stuff, guys. This is exactly how you draw it up as a defense. If you're a 4-2-5 squeeze and spill defense, this is exactly how you draw it up. Our end ends up taking up 2 blockers. He absolutely neutralizes the pull. He actually eliminates 2 pullers. He eliminates the initial pull and the backside. Boom. Massive humanity right here. This is neutralized because he did his job. He's taken out 3. Look who's clean. He's clean, and our freshman free safety is getting down into the box, and he's ready to run that alley. Nickel plays this perfectly because he understands leverage. Okay, I might have worked inside here, but I'm going to get myself back outside of this ball and work so that my linebackers and my free safety running the alley can make this play. I like this. I didn't notice this before. I did not notice this before. This is attitude right here. This is building a culture on defense. Watch my corner. He understands he's secondary contained. Boom. Get off. Get off of me, dude. Love it. That kid did not play football at all in high school until his senior year. Let's watch him again. I understand where I'm supposed to be. Get off. You're not going to block me. You're not blocking me. That is shocking and locking right there. I love that. I didn't notice that before. Watch, I've got freshman free safety down in the box making a play. senior but never played football in high school, being physical with dudes, coming down to make a play. I love it. My will linebacker from the backside scraped over. Guy got loose, and now here he comes ready to make a play. I love it. Love it. I think I've got all 11 dudes in the shot right now. Ready to go. Ready to go. Get down. Love it. We might miss a tackle here and there, but we're not going to give terrible effort. Notice when he tries to cut it up initially, when the ball, and this is a great running back. I've seen him make some plays on film. We bottled him up. When he tries to cut it up originally and stick his foot in the ground, he has to second guess because there's an unblocked linebacker, because our end did his job. Okay? Here comes our will matching the pull. Here comes our freshman free safety running the alley, ready to make a play. Physical. Get off. You're not going to block me. I'm getting to the ball. You know you've shocked a guy really well when I don't know, some of you coaches may be old enough like me to remember Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and once you got the guy beat, you knew it because you'd see that head pop back. Watch this. I can't believe I didn't notice this before. This is impromptu clinic talk right here. Boom. Rock'em Sock'em Robots. He's beat. Fly to the ball. I spent way too much time on that clip. Okay, practice your screens. Understand leverage on screens. That's our secondary force. Our nickel didn't play it perfectly. That's okay. I understand here's a corner. I'm secondary force. I've got to make our nickel right. Our nickel plays it a little bit softer than I'd like, but that's okay. Our Mike is working everything inside out, working downhill. Free safety is going to come to the alley. And even though we might have one guy wrong, it's okay. We got teammates who are going to make it right. Also, our quarterback, by the way, right here. I just got dudes that freaking want to win. Might not be the most talented guys in the world, and we don't have the greatest depth in the world, but we built a culture where guys are going to lay it all on the line. Scrape, secondary force, alley. Nothing. Actually, a forced fumble. Working back on a scramble, he gains yards, but it's also know you're down in distance, right? We can give up 7 yards on a scramble if it's third and forever. I feel like my guys at Charlestown are going to feel like I'm picking on them, but we played really well here. We beat a good football team. Our guys were playing out of their minds. Relentless effort, guys, pursuing the ball, knowing your leverage. One thing we emphasize in AAP is when you read the ball's going away, you get down the line, work laterally. Okay, from a D-line standpoint, when you banana route it, you open up gaps. Okay, but when you work down the line, inside out, there's no cutback lane. This is great right here. Starts with the guy understanding his responsibility and doing it. Know your job. Do your job. Do your job. Work down the line. Make a play, baby. So many guys in the picture ready to make a play. Okay, they got us on this play. I don't know why. Huddle messes up sometimes and really screws up where the ball starts. That's all right though, or where the video starts. You know what I'm trying to say. All right, they got us here. They out-leveraged us. This was a nice play. Caught us missing a gap, missing an assignment. But guess what we emphasize? Flying to the ball. Don't give up on the play. Oh, fumble. That's our ball. We drove 94 yards to score after this. So what what would have been, what would have been a potentially game-losing play for us because of our effort and our AAP and our emphasis on flying to the ball. We're in a position to win the game now. Effort, man. Understanding leverage. Understanding leverage. That's all this is. Understanding I've got a job to do. I'm force. So you're not getting outside of me. I'm scraping inside out. I'm scraping inside out and flowing, not letting an open gap cross my face. If nothing opens, I keep my depth as a backside backer, and I fit where needed. I'm a free safety. I'm getting to that alley when I read outside run. And my D linemen are working down the heel line. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Celebrate. Enjoy it. Play with emotion. Get happy when you. One of the things I had to change about our program, and this took all season to change this about our program. One of the things we talked about was when you do well, freaking enjoy it, man. We would score touchdowns, and it was like you were at a funeral parlor. Play with some emotion. As long as it's with your teammate, get excited. Be happy when you do well. Love this stuff. They're finally showing some raw emotion here. Yeah, let's go. Freaking love it. Have some fun. Spill it, squeeze it, spill it, pursue it. Let's go. Spill, squeeze, pursue. Spill it. Freaking great job. DYJ. Get to the ball. Get there with bad intentions. That really concludes my talk on non-negotiables. I want to reiterate here that we're talking about a non-negotiable is AAP, alignment, assignment, pursuit, tackling, and run fits. And what I really wanted to emphasize here was you don't have to line up in a run fit period. You can accomplish all three of those things with just a handful of drills. My 4 different versions of AAP. It's just a matter of what you emphasize in addition to sprinting to the ball. You can simulate a tackle without tackling. Most tackles, again, like I said, are missed because of poor tracking and poor footwork. It's not lack of physicality usually. It's usually poor tracking and poor footwork that causes missed tackles. So if you can accomplish a number of things in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 different drills and not have to recreate the wheel all the time, you're going to be in good shape. If you want to contact me, dmcdonald at providencehigh.net, at coach_D McDonald. I thank you all for watching this clinic, and as always, go Pioneers.